September 1972, Munich, Germany. Terrorists seize 11 Israeli athletes inside the Olympic Village, demanding the release of Palestinian prisoners held in Israeli jails. Before a worldwide television audience of over 100 million people, German officials negotiated to transport the terrorists and their hostages by helicopter to a nearby military airfield and awaiting jet. A desperate rescue attempt ended in tragedy and failure when the terrorists, under attack, threw grenades into the helicopters and opened fire on the hostages inside. 11 Israeli athletes that Germany vowed to save lay dead. One man who watched the Israeli hostages die in a flurry of chaotic violence vowed that there would be no more Munich massacres. His name was Ulrich Wegener, and his vision was GSG 9.
I told the minister afterwards, I still remember my words, I said, "Sir, this should not happen again. We have to do something." And on the 19th of September, the German federal government decided to establish a special operations unit.
Ulrich Wegener designed and built Grenzschutzgruppe 9, or GSG 9, with only one standard in mind: absolute excellence.
We could not create or establish an ordinary unit like others, you know, the police or in the military or whatever. The spectrum of the future mission was so wide, and it should cover all the different terror threats we could envisage. So we decided we have to go very close to terrorist organizations. You know, we have to do similar things. You know. We have to be more mobile. We have to be more movable and more flexible.
In a training base near Bonn, GSG 9 operators prepare for the call to action. In the smoldering ashes of Munich, the decision was made to create a unique force of federal police officers who could respond to any terrorist attack on German soil or anywhere in the world.
If GSG 9 gets an alert call, it takes only 1 hour to be operational for around about 45 men. The spectrum of tasks within GSG 9 is very broad. Basically, everybody in GSG 9 is interchangeable. But within our operational units, we have additional qualifications. For example, our first unit is also sniper qualified. Our second unit are qualified as combat divers, and they can do maritime tasks. And our third unit is additionally qualified as freefall parachutists, so that they can gain strongholds almost all over the world.
When terrorists strike and lives are on the line, units like the GSG 9 rely on surprise, speed, and cohesive firepower. Constant training is vital to achieve this end.
The more realistic your training is, the more you can guarantee a success. The more realistic the training is, the better for you.
GSG 9 operators perfect their craft in a state-of-the-art training facility modified for the express use of live fire. Video cameras strategically placed throughout the facility monitor and record every facet of an operator's movement.
We are here in the shooting training center of the GSG 9, in which we can realistically imitate and act out all possibilities of missions. In residences, in staircases, in aeroplanes, and even in trains, practicing them. And with the help of video cameras, we can also evaluate them in retrospect in order to discuss mistakes or new tactics and approaches.
nachdem wir angefangen haben.
After we began to film our missions and training, our work became significantly more professional. We can immediately recognize mistakes, stop them, test new strategies, and see where something is lacking, where we can improve something. And that has advanced us significantly.
Vorangebracht.
As a force of last resort, sanctioned to guarantee that there would be no more Munichs, GSG-9 did not have long to wait until called into action. On October 13, 1977, a Lufthansa 737 airliner with 91 passengers and crew on board was hijacked by 4 terrorists over the Mediterranean. After crisscrossing the Mediterranean and Middle East for some 3 days, the terrorists directed the plane to land in Aden, the capital of Yemen.
And during this day in Aden, they killed the captain of the aircraft. He was shot right through the head in front of all the passengers. Then, in the meantime, they took off again, to our surprise, only with a co-pilot in charge of the aircraft, and because of the limited range of the aircraft, they could only go to an African country.
The plane was flown to Mogadishu, Somalia. Unknown to the terrorists, 60 operators from GSG-9, led by their commander, Ulrich Wegner, had followed the hijacked aircraft aboard a specially modified 707. When Flight 181 touched down in Mogadishu, the corpse of the murdered pilot was dumped onto the runway's tarmac. Moments before the terrorists' last deadline to kill all the hostages, the German government ordered GSG-9 into action.
We came from behind so that nobody could see us. In the meantime, I had also given the order to the Somali battalion to seal off the area and to set up a bonfire in front of a sort of distraction. And this worked perfectly. The terrorists saw the fire, they were asking the tower, what's happened there? Look at there. And so they were distracted.
At 2:05 a.m., moving silently and swiftly, GSG-9 operators maneuvered the emergency doors to the 737 open.
First assault team hit the leader of the aircraft in the cockpit, and the number 2 was also hit in the galley. The leader was killed right away, and the number 2 was severely wounded. We hit the number 3 man. They were shot right through the head, and the number 4 fired from inside the toilet, and she was killed right away. The whole operation inside the aircraft with the evacuation, 7 minutes. So, after 7 minutes, I could report to the government that the work is done.
GSG-9's spectacular rescue assault at Mogadishu was the culmination of years of hard work and training. Awaiting their next call to action, GSG-9 hones its skills to be ready for the next Mogadishu. On a specially built-to-scale model of a plane, team members perfect simultaneous entry techniques. The objective of any hostage rescue assault is always to save lives. When terrorists armed with explosives have the ability to kill hundreds of innocent passengers, decisive firepower is often the last resort. Through perseverance, innovative vision, and unyielding resolve and courage, GSG-9 has forged a global brotherhood of men in arms, dedicated to prove to Germany and to the world that there would be no more Munich massacres.